June 8th, 1853. Dear Austin, Possum, Jupiter, and I have had our first swim over at the swimming hole. The water was cold at first, but we warmed up, jumping off the rope swing. Harley rushed Harley Rush showed up and began to climb the hilling side to Widow's Rock. You know how high that is, Austin. Only the best divers dare to go off it. When Harley got to the top, he called down to us, daring us to dive. We didn't pay we didn't pay him any mind until we heard a familiar bark and looked up to see Whistle coming around behind him. Whistle must have followed Harley up to the trail while we were in the water. Harley's bigger and stronger than the three of us put together. He's also got real mean streak in him, and when he caught sight of Whistle, he pulled a piece of beef jerky from his pocket and held it out for him. Jupiter, Possum, and I were all whistling for Whistle to come down. But that hound, but that hound loves two things in this world: Jupiter and beef jerky. And as good as Jupiter must smell to him, I guess beef jerky just smells better. When he put when he put his nose in Harley's hand, Harley wrapped his arms around him and laughed. Looks like this dog is only one brave enough to take my dare and dive off Widow's Rock, he yelled down to us. Leave him be, Harley, I shouted back. I'll leave him be, only if one of you comes up and takes his place, but if you don't dive, the dog dies, he threatened, holding Whistle out over the water. None of us doubted he'd do it. I started to swim for the bank, but Jupiter grabbed on to my arm and pulled me back. His jaw was clenched shut and his eyes were stony with determination. I knew he'd make up his mind to go. Possum and I watched as he climbed out of the water, got into his breeches, and made his way up the trail to Widow's Rock. When he got up to the top, he stopped. I held my breath, wondering what he'd do next. On account of I know that Jupiter is scared to death of high places. When he sits in the hayloft, he never goes near the window or climbs up to the rafters the way Possum and I sometimes do. Jupiter lifted his arms over his head. Everyone grew silent as he closed his eyes. We waited, and waited, and waited some more. If you ain't going to do it, move over and let your dog here have have a go at it, Harley finally declared. I ain't waiting all day. Jupiter took a step forward, and before I knew it, he had jumped. He shot down like a bullet to the bottom and was pretty shook up and he was when he surfaced, but Possum and I got a hold of him and helped him to the bank. We told him that it was the bravest thing we'd ever saw anybody do. Whistled had come back down to the trail after Harley let him go, and he was licking Jupiter's face, thanking him, I suppose, for being brave enough to jump off Widow's Rock. Walking through the woods on our way home, we came upon some good lengthy of hickory that somebody had cut off and left, so we grabbed some rods and decided to make walking sticks out of them when we got home. The next day, when Jupiter's pa, Winston, was driving to the Freed mill, he stopped his wagon by the woodshed to talk to Jupiter and me. Winston is the broad-shouldered man, do you remember? With a row of pink stripes running down the side of his dark-skinned face. Jupiter's face is blacker than his father's, but free of stripes, and Winston says that he intends to see that it stays that way. Folks tell how Winston got those scars before he got his freedom when he was a slave. I like Jupiter's pa, 'cause he always smiles when he sees us and asks, how you men folk doing today? When he asked us this afternoon, I told him how we wanted to do some whistling as he had some hickory cut. Whittling as he had some hickory cut. A good whittler needs two things, Winston said, taking a lengthy of hickory from my hand. First, you need patience, 'cause you can't hurry to wood. And second, you need what they call a whittler's eye. Jupiter and I looked at each other and squinted our eye. Like this? I asked. Winston laughed and shook his head. Winston laughed real easily, especially when he's around men folk, like Jupiter and me. Unless you have noticed to lose a few fingers, I think it's best if you keep your eyes open, he said. With a whittler's eye, a body can see clear through the wood to take the thing it is he wants to whittle. Once you can see that, he said, All you have to do is shave off the extra wood around it. Jupiter and I got out our knives and started hard at the hickory rods when we had chosen. I am making a walking stick for Reuben since you had said he likes to wander through the woods picking berries and leaves for his concussions. I will bring it with me on the wagon train next spring. I wanted to fashion the head of a pirate for the handle, but so far it looks more like a turnip with a nose. Jupiter's stick is coming out much better than mine. He is making a smaller walking stick for his sister Darcy. He's decided that the top of the stick should be shaped like a bird, a nightling. I wish you could see the two little wings he's carved. They look so light and feathery that you'd expect them to start flapping. I wonder what Darcy will say when she sees her stick. I guess she I guess she'll probably start to sing. I don't imagine Reuben will sing when he sees old Turnip ahead, but I hope he likes the stick enough to make use of it. Your brother, Levi. June 16th, 1853. Dear Austin, I am still being tortured with dancing lessons, but I've been bearing up as best I can. The only good part is when I get Tessa Buckman as my partner. Yesterday I had no flies on my head and only stepped on her feet twice, so I think I made fair impression. This is a short letter, as I have been helping Possum and his pa being in their hay, and I am mighty tuckered out with at the end of the day. We're not big enough yet for pitching, so Possum and I have been raking. Today, Possum's pa showed us how to use the big bull rakes. It was tricky at first, but we finally got the hang of it and raked right alongside Nate and hired him. Nate's all right. Captain, he ate some beans and we're talking behind his back, and we all talking behind his back, and we had to keep our distance. We've been holding our club meetings up in Possum's barn. Since we've decided to make you an honorary member, Austin, I guess it's all right for me to tell you what we're planning. First off, we're going to hunt down the thieves that got away from Miller's store. Next, we're going to find out about the mysterious light at Preacher Tully's place. And last, we're going to find a remedy to stop hiccups. Possum and Jupiter don't mind my affiliation so much, but if we decide to take in new members, well, I just figure it would be more dignified if our president could face danger without hiccuping. So I'm needing your help, Austin. Not with tracking down the thieves or uncovering my mysteries of the light. Those will be easy tasks, but curing my hiccups now. That's another matter altogether. It's akin to trying to put socks on a rooster. I just don't know if it can be done. Miss Amelia says that I'll outgrow the habit, but I was hoping you'll have some suggestions until I do. Last night I had a bad nightmare. I dreamed that I found the thieves, but I was hiccuping so much that they just laughed and picked me up and carried me into the widow's rock and threw me off. Do you ever have nightmares, Austin? Do you think I can outgrow them too? Your brother, Levi.